Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
Can you hear us all right? Let us know in the chat if the sound level is all right.
Yes, it seems to be all right.
Great. Well, great to see. Great to see you. Great to see you, Kata.
Yeah, great to see you, Victor.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, the sound is a bit low, so
A
maybe
little
we
bit
should.
low. Yeah.
Yeah. Could roll it up a bit.
Is this better? Or maybe.
Yeah, add it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Better.
Yes,
Super.
it's better.
Great.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you for the feedback. Uh. Yeah, we think we might wait just a little longer to see if any other people join.
Sure. We could also introduce ourselves in the meantime.
That's
maybe?
a good idea.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'll see if I can keep myself in frame. Our green screen is a little narrow here for two people. But as you may or may not know, my name is Victor. I have streamed on here before, so was Kotte, by the way. And I work as a design technologist at Noodle. So I have a background in design, but definitely also have a great interest of coding, which is why Noodle is a perfect tool for a profile like me.
Yeah. And I work as a developer at Noodle and designer as well. I could say that I'm kind of the inverse of Victor. So I'm a designer, or sorry, a developer with design knowledge too. Yeah, that's me. And I'll be here in the first part of the stream, and I'll be moderating the chat. Some of you might already know me from the different chats that we've been having the past week. Um, Really, the reason why we're having this live stream is that the past week we've seen a lot of influx of users that are really interested in Noodle and what Noodle does and what Noodle is and what Noodle isn't. So we thought that we kind of combine a Q&A with a little bit of a demonstration of, quickly going through some of the key features and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just gonna. I mean, it's just gonna be a quite chill stream. Hopefully, I have a little project prepared where we will build, and then hopefully along the way, we can cover some best practices and some tips and tricks in Noodle. So that's gonna be nice.
Yeah. I will be, as I said, I will be keeping track of the chats, and whenever there is a question that I feel works really well at the moment, I will kind of inject it and ask it to Victor. Otherwise, we'll bring it up at the Q&A at the end. We have a couple of questions prepared, but let's take that when we get there, I think.
Yep. And just for the record, everything is, no pun intended, but everything is being recorded. So even if you feel like you have to drop out at some point, you can always come back and rewatch the stream.
Yeah.
Exactly. Great. Should we just get started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sounds good. I'll jump out of frame and then I'll inject myself whenever I feel the need.
Perfect.
See you in the chat.
Great. Do you see my screen all right? It looks from my preview that you can see my screen. It's just because with OBS you always have to be aware that your screen updates and doesn't freeze, but it looks okay, right?
Yep.
Great. So in here I have a little sort of template of, obviously I am in Noodle now. I take it that most people in the chat have at least opened Noodle once, kind of taking that for granted, I guess. But here we are in Noodle, and I have a little sort of template of a project. There's not so much happening in here, but I just find that at least from previous streams, it's nice to have a little bit to start out with rather than start completely from scratch. Both because it's sometimes a little bit boring to make the sort of very standard components, and it takes time out of the stream. But also it gives us a little bit to talk about straight from the get-go. And that's what I'm actually going to start out with here. So in this little demo, we're going to do a kind of a web shop that deals with ceramics. I'm calling it Picasso, as you can see here in my header. And let's have a look at some of the components that's already in here, and then let's after that develop further onto the app.
Yeah, just sorry, Victor. Could you check the quality of the stream? So if you click the cog at the where was it? Quality setting at the cog at the bottom right of the video. Would that be possible?
Sorry, here.
Let's see here.
That's. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it bad quality? Or, I mean, you can always set it in Twitch as a viewer. You can also set the output.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's it. I haven't changed in the settings since the last stream.
Oh, okay. Oh wait, we're getting some people that are talking about the that it's not for us, it's for the people watching at Twitch. So I will eject myself again. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, no worries. So let me go to my app component. In here, as you can see, it's actually quite empty. I just have a group, and then I have a header. This header is a custom-made, that sounds so fine and dandy. It's just a component that I've made. And then we have the page router. So let's go into the header a little bit. Keep in mind that Noodle is, of course, especially since it's based on React, we also very much make use of sort of the ideas of having components. You add components here in our components overview. What we're looking at here are visual components, and right now we are in a visual component called header. This header here, as I hover over the groups here, my blue visual nodes, I don't know if it's too visible in the stream, but you can see that the header is highlighted with this turquoise color. In here, we just have an image, which is my logo, Picasso's signature. And then I have a button that is a card. This is a button without a background. Everything in Noodle, of course, all elements can be changed visually here in the properties panel. And as you will probably notice, is everything here is, of course, tied to CSS. There might be some layers of abstraction on top of this to make it easier for, let's say, non-coders to understand. But in the end, everything that's being changed here is, of course, CSS. And as we've had quite a few questions about on Discord recently, if you find anything missing in the panel, there's a lot of things you can do. You can either write custom CSS directly here in the button at the CSS style panel. You can also create a CSS definition like this, write your own CSS classes here. So like header, and then give that some like background color. Oops, let me maybe get some red. And then here, hopefully I should be able to just write header and reload. No. Well, that was a bad demo. But that's how it would work. I can just show you the other thing at least. That if we were to go in here to this, then it becomes red. Don't know why the class thing didn't work, but let's not dwell too much on that. Yeah, so you can always write custom. Oh, I should probably remove the red background in here. You can always write your own custom CSS, or as you've probably also seen on Discord, ask us if we should include whatever CSS property you're wanting. Maybe we can, if enough people want it, there's a good chance that we can just add it in the editor. It's just that if we were to add all CSS properties for all elements here, the list would be more or less endless. Well, this button in here, you notice that there's something else going on. I have a string formatter and a number. This number is a placeholder that will later be the count of the amount of items that's in my cart. You can see right now it's 0. And then we have this string format node. And a string format node can be used for simple text concatenation of formatting, the kind of formatting that doesn't require so much else, like computationally. So what we're doing here is just that we have some static text that is card and a square bracket, and then we have a count in curly brackets. And that count becomes a port that we can put our number in here. Of course, this is a placeholder. We should change that at some point. Let me go back to my app. So that was the header. That's also here. And then below our header, we have our page router. And when I click the page router, you can see we just have a product page. So we actually only have one page right now. It could be in the future that we should have like a checkout page or something. But I don't think this demo is gonna cover, or not cover, but like it's not gonna be so much about navigation. It's more gonna be about tips and tricks with visual layout and managing data. Because those are the kinds of questions we've had a lot recently. So let us go to our product page. In our product page, oh, I had a little test here. I'm sorry, that was not supposed to be here. I'm gonna delete this now and then add it again later. It was just to check that I had some data in my backend I could use. In here we have a page. That's the page we're looking at here. And in there's a inner container, and it has two children, which is the title container with the title that says products, and then the products container with two product cards. And the product cards I've just placed here manually, but obviously, as some of you might already have guessed, we should use this product card to with a repeater or with a set of data that then generates a card for each item that we have. So let's go into our product card. This product card, maybe I should rename this group. I really recommend, now that we're talking best practices, to be good at naming your groups. I mean, maybe it's a little bit redundant to call this product card when we're in the product card component, but I kind of like to see that this is sort of the main component. This is the, I guess, card container or something like that. And then in here we have an image container and a product text container. And already here we can see something quite interesting going on, which is I'm right now in a visual component, and this product text container is not a sort of default node either. That is also a visual component. So it's a visual component within a visual component. Let me get back to that in just a moment. We have our image container here with an image, and the image right now is actually, it's a little bit of a, I guess, just a little hack. But I have an image here in my project folder. Here's my project folder. It opened on another screen. Under graphics, I have this no image PNG. What I could do is also just to like use an icon and then make sure that this container always had like a certain size. But right now I just used a image that's sort of the default, and then when we can generate the cards from data, then that will be switched out. Then we have the button to add to cart, and yes, the product text container. When we go in here, I can just double click all my components if it is a visual component or like a set of nested components. So I can just double click here, and we can see that when I highlight the text container down here, that's this part of the card. And then I have for some reason, I guess I changed this. So this is called lower. This should be called upper because it's the upper part, and this is lower. I guess I must have changed that somewhere along the way. And in here, we see component inputs, our first component input for this project. And a component input is a way of saying, okay, we have this a text container as a template, but we also have data in here that should be variable. And by creating a component inputs, we can create these ports that will then be able to connect to things over here in our component. So here you can see we have the product name that goes directly to the large text node here. Then we have the price, which is right now just a euro sign, but we also have a string formatter where we say euro and then whatever price we get in, so on and so forth. That also means that when we are in here, we could actually, let me not do that right now. I think we should move on to maybe getting some more meaningful data into these cards. But I guess that was all the components I already have in here. Are there any questions in the chat?
No, not so far actually. Yeah, so I think everything is clear so far, I guess.
Yeah, but please do let us know if anything should be clearer.
So Guillaume Maison actually asks, component inputs are the data needed for the inside elements of the component, right?
I mean, it depends, because right now we have, this product text container is actually within its own visual component, which means that we should probably also have some kind of input from here if we were to change the product cards from out here. You see, this product card does not have any component inputs, and that's because there's sort of a component inputs port missing here that should then go down to the product text container. However, I could change the product text container here to say, product, for instance, like this. The thing is, then it will update on all cards, which is probably not what we want. And then to add to that, the default value of a component input is what sort of the let's say the product name. Right now the default here is text, but it could also be product name like this. Now it'll update and then be overridden. But then you see, if I reset my changes here, you see that the default value is product name, which it can be quite handy. Then you know what sort of the especially when dealing with sizes, it's quite nice, what the standard size of pixels is for a certain component or template. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I can also clarify a little bit that, as you said, component inputs are not necessarily the data needed, but it's the way of kind of creating your own nodes in that sense.
Yeah, and you can even arrange it so that you don't have to use all the ports, so that the component doesn't break if it has everything. That would just, it depends on how you build your visual components. Great.
Guillaume is happy with that answer.
That's great. Great to hear. Yeah. So first off, we're gonna need some products in our web shop, and there are many ways we could do this, but I think the first thing I want to show you is, of course, our built-in backend. So I'm going to the Cloud Services panel here, and you see here at Noodle we use a lot of different backends for. We're right now in our demo projects workspace, so we have a lot of things from previous streams here. Right now I have a cloud service open here that's called Web Shop Demo. So if I open this dashboard, we get the past dashboard open. And in here you can see that we have the standard Roland user, which we will not be using today for this stream. That's probably something for a future stream. But you also see that we have a class here called products. And then we have a table overview of our products. You can see here that I think it's been jumbled a little bit around, but we have like a product name, we have a price, we have a maker, and I only have 4 items in here for now, just to show this. Oh, I also have a category. But to access this data, first we need to go to, I think we actually need to go to the product page, because that's where I want to place the repeater. We could also just fetch the product. Actually, maybe let's do that. We could just fetch all the products out here in the app, and then make sure that we have a global variable with the array of our products. So if I do a query records here, that's the node you use to send a query to your own built-in backend. And here in class, I should choose products. That was the name of my class. And then we can also, if we want, set some sorting and filter here. I'm not going to do that for now. And then I'm going to make an array that I will call products, like this. And then send the items to items, like this. And then refresh. So I hope it's visible on the stream when I refresh, that you see this walking ant animation, and that means that data has sort of flown, I don't know, gotten from one node to another. You can also see when I highlight this data node, we have an array of 4 items here, which looks exactly like we wanted, because as you saw, I had 4 items in my database. So here I have my products, and then they have been sent to an array called products. You could also maybe use this directly in a repeater, but this is how I'm building it, because then I can take this array, copy it, go to my product page, and then have it in here. And then instead of manually placing all these cards, I'm going to delete this now. I'm going to use a repeater. So a repeater is a type of visual component that expects a template type. Sorry, a template. And the template should be a visual component that you already have. So I already have my component card, like this. And then when I attach items to items, we'll generate a product card for each item that there is in the list. So as you can see, we have 4 items, therefore there are 4 cards. Does that make sense? How does the chat look?
We had a question about external or internal databases, and I told them that if I know you right, you will come to that pretty soon.
Yeah, I will be given an example of, for instance, how to fetch data from a CMS as an example, and we'll use either a GraphQL node for that or a REST node, or both. Let's see. So in here, I'm now in my product card again, and we have 4 product cards, 1 for each item. But as you can see, we're not seeing anything different here. So there's different ways to go about this. I think I am gonna use a object node here. I guess in theory, it kind of depends. There are some pros and cons that are most often, I think, edge cases, but you could also use a component input here. But I think most of the time you'll see yourself using an object node that then comes in and creates this card. This object node tells me that I have no object, and that's because I need to get an ID from somewhere. And up here in the properties panel, it says right now that I should specify explicitly which ID it is. I don't want that. I want to get the ID from the repeater. When I do that, I just get the object. This, I take it, is the last object in the array. And from here, I can start filling stuff into my card by making the right connections. So for instance, one thing I need to do is all these things I have up here, I should make ports for them. So for instance, maker, I would like a port for maker. I would like a port for price. I want one for product name. Let me start with this. And then so here the product name should go to product name, the price should go to price, and the maker should go to, I've called it artist here. I could just change that in my component input, so it's a little clearer, maker. And we already see now that our cards are being filled in with different data now, which is great. Oh, and this gave an error because I changed the name of the port. Now, to get our image, we see that we do have a product image, and that has a name and it has a URL. So I can't just make a port, or I should make a port anyway to call product image, sorry, like this. But I cannot just set that to the image like this because it's an object. Let me show you. So it's an, oh, maybe I can. Okay, maybe that changed. I was about to say that back in the day, we had to at least have a little expression that said product image.url, but I forgot that that had been changed in the meantime. So now we have four nice images too, and yeah, I guess that's everything we need for our card for now. At least sort of visually. Oh, actually, one thing I would like to do, I would like to show you the states note. It's a super powerful note that you can use for smaller or bigger things. But for instance, this buy button, maybe it shouldn't be visible all the time. So I could make a states note here, and then have a neutral state and a hover state. And then I would say there's a value in here that should change whether, depending on what state we're in. So I'll call it button width. And then when we hover the card, hover start to hover, hover end to neutral, then we change the, oh, did I, button width, I did something wrong here. Button width, and it should be a number. And then I think my button container right now it's 64. So on neutral it should be 0, and then 64 on hover, and then I can just set that button width to the width port here. There. So now the button disappeared, but when I hover, it sort of slides in from the side. So it looks a little neater. Then I guess what we could also do, oh no, I was about to say we could also change the cursor, but it's only when you're up here that you can actually click something. So I think that's fair that the cursor changes here. I will say that if you want to change the cursor, you can also do that in the CSS style, because we also had that question on Discord. But yeah. States note is a super nice note that can help you sort of style these sort of smaller micro interactions, and it also comes out of the box with transitions that you can use, but you can also just say no to all transitions, or sort of individually set, you know, from neutral or from hover or whatever. But yeah, it's a super nice little tool that would have, at least for me, it's way faster using a states node than back in the day where you had to use transitions between different CSS states. Yeah. Any questions?
Mr. Kenja asks, can the visibility of an element be controlled by a URL path?
By URL path? Yeah, I mean, it should be some kind of logic that looks for the URL path, and then you do, for instance, the states node that's decided on that. I don't know. Or a function, of course. Yeah.
Ricky Tiki Osborne says that you mean a URL parameter, maybe.
Yeah. That would be something you could put into the page inputs, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely do that. We can actually take a look at that in the Q&A portion if you're interested more. But yes, it is possible.
Yeah. Okay. Let's, if I do there, so this was getting the products from our backend. We could also try to include a few more products, and For this, I've prepared in here. Right now, I'm using a CMS called Dado. It could also be Contentful, which is also a quite popular service. But here you see I have a lot of products, a lot more than I have in my own backend, and I can also sort of add the maker price category. Just so you can see it's kind of set up the way we have in our backend. There's just a lot more data here. And it's easier for non-programmers to serve this as a list. This could also, of course, be a list of articles or articles to read, or in this case, it's products. But now I would like to see if I can get all these things into Noodle. And to start out with, I think I'm gonna use a GraphQL node here. I should say that I already added this through the modules here. It's something you need to install like this. I think I already have it, so that's why it's saying override. So let me try GraphQL query here. Should also say that it would be a good idea to do this in a Cloud Function. And I'm going to do that eventually, but right now I just want to see it working. So I hope you can bear with me there. So let me just go to the API Explorer here. What's cool about Dado is that you can build your own query like this. So it understands that I have a content class that's called product. And that if when I'm in here, there's a product name, I can create a product name, a image maker category, and so on. So when I am in the API Explorer, I can say that I want the product name and then get a review of what that would look like. So I also want the product image, and the maker, and the price. Was that all? Let me check. Again, please say if there's any questions. I don't want to keep blabbering all the time. If someone... Category, I guess. And then I can do this, press play, and then I can see a preview of what I can expect to get out. And what I then need to do here is, where is it? First off, in here I have an API token. I'm not going to show that on stream, but I can copy it off screen here. No, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, I didn't show anything. That's good. Where is it's called something like your first request or something? Dado CMS. There we go. So in here, I need my headers. Need to copy this into my request headers. Or I guess, let me just re-copy this. I can just paste this in here, like this. And then the token will then be, can I do like this? Inputs.token, Karte?
Yes, I think you should be able to.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the endpoint is it just this one? No, there. Oops. I'm clicking all over the place here. Looks like it was the same one, but yeah, it's just to make sure that we have the right things here. So that's my endpoint. And then, okay, I think I'm already going to do this in a Cloud Function because I'm going to need some config set up here. So I'm going to make a Cloud Function and call it GraphQL QL query. Oh, no, I can't use GraphQL in here. What? No. Okay. Well, 2 seconds. Let me just let me create the GraphQL query here. And then I need to make a, how do I do this? I'll do a string with my API key, and the API key, again, I'm gonna copy that off screen. It's not the worst thing in the world. I can always change the API key, but just wouldn't be so nice if something went wrong during the stream here. So how? Okay, then I'm gonna take Noodle out of the frame too, I guess. Do this. Okay, sorry for that. It's always a little bit with having like secret stuff on a stream. I have put my where it said like inputs.token before. I just put in my API key, and then let's see if this actually. Oh, I of course also need my query. So my query right now is empty, but this query is what I made over here. In here. So I should just take all this for my GraphQL and then do this and then see if, oh, on did mount fetch, and see if that returns anything. Items, oh, array. Sorry, I always forget. Then this all product should be the result. I guess we could call that whatever we want really, but it should be the same at least as what you call the items. And let's see, there we go. So now I have all the items from GraphQL here. Sorry, I'm sorry if the explanation was a little bit wobbly, but it was just because I could not show the API key while on stream. But as you can see, I can now get all 19 products from Dado. I have a lot more products now. So what I can do is actually maybe just delete this query from our own backend and then replace that with what we get here from our GraphQL. And let's see. So I get a lot of new products here, but there's something that's not formatted right with the product image. So let's see. We get a product image. Why do we not get a should? Is it because it always also wants a URL maybe? Let me try that. Try it here. Yes. Perfect. So I forgot to add the URL of the image in my query. And then I should update it in here too. And then when we go back to the product card, we should see, now we probably need a little expression or a function, but I'm just gonna do an expression because it's so simple. Product image.url, or we could also call it, yeah, whatever. Let's just do this. Product image, and this should now go to the result should go to the source. There we go. And now we have all our nice products in here. Any questions on that? How's it looking?
Yeah, so there is a small delay, but it doesn't seem to be any questions so far.
Small delay on
the stream, that is.
Okay. One thing I can also show you here is that we also have, of course, these prefabs. So in here we could use the loading spinner, and we could start the loading spinner while the GraphQL query is working on fetching all the data. So I have my loading spinner here. I can clone it, and when I've cloned it in, I can drag it in here from the node picker, loading spinner. And as you can see, if I just have it here, it's always showing. So I guess, I mean, is there a way to say that? No, I guess I'm not saying this is the best practice, but I'm just going to show you that we can send a signal from when the page mounts to show the loading spinner. And it's the same signal that actually fetches the query. So those two things can happen concurrently. But then when we do we not have a success signal from this? I actually thought we did.
Yeah, but you could use the
Value changed or
No, you can just. I think the array has a changed. Yes.
Yeah, or fetched to hide. But I would like, at least, for instance, if this was a oh, that makes no sense. Fetched. Oh, let's try this. Okay, so we barely get to see it. I'm not sure if the stream even catches this. The request happens quite fast, but I guess that's also a good sign that we're not building a too heavy of an app yet. But yeah, this was just to show how nice it is that, you know, especially when you're prototyping really like in a rapid manner, that you can use these prefabs. We are constantly building more, and I know there's been a lot of talk on Discord for having some kind of a marketplace for prefabs that we haven't been able to set up, but it is something we are very interested in exploring.
Yeah, definitely. And I can just pitch in quickly that so we have two concepts. One of them is the prefabs, and the other one is modules. And essentially, prefabs are components that you download or clone, and then anything in a prefab you can edit because all of it is built with Noodle nodes. But then we also have modules, which is a bit more advanced. We do have an SDK for it, so if you are a developer or have a developer friend or colleague, you can actually develop your own nodes or modules for Noodle as well. And it's really great for things like we have some of those things for like the shake detector for your phone, you know, Lottie for animations, MQTT if you want to connect any kind of smart IoT devices and things like that. So it's really, really nice. And yeah, prefabs are just regular Noodle components that you import.
Exactly.
It's like a micro template.
Exactly. And what's really nice about that is that you can then go into components and change them yourself here. Since you're just working with regular Noodle nodes. What we should probably also create is, I'm gonna create a new visual component and call it shopping cart. So we can get like an overview of our shopping cart. So a new visual component called shopping cart. I think I'm actually gonna do this as a type of pop-up. So I'm gonna call it shopping cart pop-up. Like this. And I'm gonna do it so that in my header, when you click the card here, then we open a pop-up or show pop-up, and that show pop-up should be the shopping cart pop-up. So click show. So then in my, where is it there? In here, I could just, for starters, make a total all white background just for or maybe make it, I don't know, all green, just to see that something happens. So now I'm clicking the card, and now everything on my screen becomes green. This isn't necessarily the intended behavior that I want, of course, for everything to be green, but it's not. It's just nice to see that some overlay is happening here. So I'm gonna call this this group in here, the outermost group. I'm gonna call that overlay, and I'm gonna make that the same color or same style as the sort of the button, and then with a little bit of opacity. So that was a color I already had in here. I have not been smart to add it as a color style. I can do that by creating a new color style here, making sure I have the this, and call it petroleum blue or something. Petroleum blue. That's how you add color styles. And as you can see, it already has a little bit of opacity on it, which is nice. So this is the overlay. Then I have and I'll add another group. That will be the cart container. And that should be white. Like this. And it should take up max, I think I'm gonna say it should take up like 100% width, 100% height, but I'm just gonna put a max width of like, let's try 400 pixels, something like that. And I want it to be on the right side of my overlay container here, like this. Maybe it should be a little bit more than, let's try 560 or something. And then when I click the overlay, ooh, this is one of those tricky ones. I'm actually gonna have one top group that's called shopping cart pop up. And then in here, I'm gonna have the overlay, and then as a sibling, I will need the I will need the sibling here. 2 seconds. This should be absolute. Like this. Yeah, there we go. So the reason why these two need to be siblings, before the cart container was inside the overlay, but that's because I want the overlay, so when you click on that, you close the pop-up. And had the cart container been a child to this group, then even if you had clicked something in the in what's gonna be my list of items in the cart here, if I was to click something there or to update the shopping cart sort of the basket, then everything would just close. So when I click here, let's close the pop-up. Let's try when I click this petroleum blue part here. Okay, I think, let me just try and reload. There we go. So I can click the card and I can close here. Another thing I could show is we should probably have some way of adding stuff to an array that's called shopping cart. So let's see what's a smart way to do this. I guess I'm gonna use that in the header. Doesn't really matter where I put it, but I'll just have a shopping cart here. Sorry, I can't search for shopping cart. Array that I will call shopping cart. Shopping cart, like this. And the count of the shopping cart should be what I see in my string formatter. So now I no longer need this number here. It's still gonna be 0. And then when I'm in a product and I click the button, I should add that object to the array. That's called shopping cart. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna create a component outputs here that works a little bit like a component inputs, just on the way out, of course. And I'm gonna have a object and item added, like this. And then I think I'm gonna maybe set object properties here. So I already have an object here. that has an ID, and that should be the ID I'm gonna change now. And then I'm gonna add a property that does not exist from the CMS, but I want to add afterwards, and I want to call that count. So how many of these items am I adding? And I'm gonna add a counter. This counter should increase every time I click the button, and the current count should be count, and when count has changed, I'm updating the object. And then I'm gonna say when this object has been set, I will send a signal that an item has been added to the shopping cart, and that the ID should be the object. So that the ID of the object is this object here. Great. Then out in my product page, I should, from my repeater, have the shopping cart here. No, insert to array. I'm gonna insert the object that I'm clicking. Should be the object ID, and the array I want to insert it to is the shopping cart. And I should do this action when an item has been added. So let's see what I can just do here to inspect. I know I already have the shopping cart array in the header, but I could also just add it here while I'm looking, checking if it works. So when I click here, actually see already, when I click the cart now, I'm adding this vase that's called Gestalt, and its count right now is 11. So I really like this vase. I want to buy 11, 15 of them. And then if I add one more, the phase number 2 here, then I get another object with another count. So the way I've actually set this up here is by adding a count to the object properties. I'm kind of making sure from the built-in way Noodle handles how you add objects to array. When you add object to array with this with the same ID, then you cannot create duplicates of the same ID. So had I instead sort of made a new object per item I wanted in my shopping cart array, then I could have duplicates, and there are some web shops that work like this too. But now you can see that in my header, my shopping cart also updates up here. It says 2 now. And that's because I have 2 different things. We can't see anything in here yet. I have 2 different products, but then I was thinking that in my shopping cart I could show how many items, or what the count was too. And I think this might be, I mean, we also have to move on to Q&A, not too long, but let me just...
No, it's cool. Just keep on going. I think it's great.
Yeah. What's nice about this product card is that we have the product name and the price, and we have the artist or the maker. So remember in the beginning that this was actually a product container card. I don't see a reason why we can't just reuse this for what goes on in here. So let's try. In here, my card container, that's the one with the white background. I'm gonna create another group. I could just create a repeater here, but I might need the group outside the repeater, which makes it easier to lay out afterwards. So this is gonna be my item list, maybe. And in here, I'm gonna put a repeater. And the array this time the data this time does not come, of course, from the CMS. It just comes from our shopping cart. So items to items. Let's see. Oh, I have not chosen a template type. So the template type should be our product text container like this. And okay, so here's a little funny thing where the component inputs is called price with a capital P, but the object that comes, the data that comes from the object, it's like, it's from the CMS, so it's like price with a small p and category with a small c, stuff like that. So let us just change these to what the CMS prefers. That was product name like this. Mega. I could also just create an object in here, but would that be better actually? I don't know. Let us just try this to start out with. And the source is not something we use right now. That used to be the image source. Let me just add a couple of items here. Oh, I'm getting some errors. That's of course because I now changed the port. So let me just reconnect them with their new names. So mega to mega, price to price, product name to product name. I think that was it for now. And then let's add some items to our... And there we go. So now we see I have a phase number 2, a gestalt, a phase number 1, and a drop. But what we also get, I think I can already see now that maybe I should, the count. I should have the count. So, no, wait. Let me think. So here we have my shopping cart. Right now, I just used the product text container, which I probably shouldn't do. I should create a new item, of course, that is called shopping cart item. And in this shopping cart item, I can then use my product cart container. That's way smarter. That gives way more flexibility. So here I will have my shopping cart item. That means that I'm now changing to an empty template, so don't worry. It's all part of the plan, part of the master plan. Product text container comes in here. And this should only take up, it should take 100% of the width and only take up the content height. So that's this setting here in dimensions. And then I will need a object node. And again, I want to have the I want to have the object from, the ID from the repeater, but I'm already thinking now that this object is more or less the same as this object. So I'm just gonna copy that here and then do this, because then I get all the correct settings with the maker and stuff like that. All the ports are here. Product name. And then now I always, not always, now I also have a count. So this count I could add as a group or inside a group before we show the text here. So let's say this group should, I don't know, let's say it's 64 pixels wide. And this group should be horizontally aligned. And for some reason, let's see. Oh, should probably also have something that says that we are in the shopping cart, but yeah, let's see. So now this group gives a little bit of space where we can then put in a text node here, and the text node should just be maybe centered like this. And then we can do another string formatter that says X and then count. So the X is just like a, stylized multiply sign. Oh, and then of course I need to expose the port here. That's called count. That was a property I added to my object when I added it to the card. That was not there. Here, count to count, of course, like this. And formatted text should be here. And let's see. The reason why we might not see it first is because might need a little reload. No, the count is okay. I have accidentally called it count with capital C, which I could just change here, but I would rather have it all the same all over in the app. So I called this count, which I shouldn't do. I should call it count with this. And then I will gonna get an error that the property of count with capital C does not exist anymore, and I can just redo it here. So current count to count, like this. Let's try. I'm gonna add 2 here. And then we see that I have 1 gestalt and 1 phase number 2 in my card. And I will also now, I will reuse the, I can't remember what I put in here for the products page, but I will just reuse this products title here. Use that in my shopping cart pop-up and have that up here and call this shopping cart. And then this whole thing I will give some padding maybe. Like this. And then I guess the last thing we could do is just to check that if I add tons of these, now I have 10 gestalt. Oh, one thing that could be nice. When I add an item to the shopping cart, I should use a toast prefab. So when we are done with adding an item that's on the product page here, I should show a toast, and the toast is in here for prefabs. This. So I'm just gonna clone that. It's here, show toast, and then I will show something toast here. And the way the toast prefab works is that you can send a signal to start or to show the toast. You can show what type it should be. I just want a normal toast. But if it's error, then you get like a red tint to it. Success is green, warning is yellow, if I'm not mistaken. So this toast could say item added to cart. This. Now when I add something, we see I get a message here that it's been added, which is kind of cool. If I go to my toast component, I can go into the normal here, and I can, I don't know if I want to do so much in here. I would probably maybe change the outline to fit a little bit with this horizontal bar here. So I think this is I can't remember. I think it's like I can go into design mode here by pressing Command T. I accidentally pressed Command D because I thought of design. But when I'm in design mode, I can click an element, like hover an element like you would inspect it. And then when you click it, for instance, if I click this image here of my Picasso signature, I'm taken directly to the image node where that exists. I can also right click it and see the whole node tree that it exists in, which is super useful. Very, very happy to see this feature, which was implemented not so long ago. But in here, I can see what did I put for the bottom part of my header. So that was 4 pixels solid and black, I take it. So when I go to my normal toast, normal there, where is it there? Like this and black. I'm not sure if this is gonna be like maybe a little bit too crazy. I mean, design mode should not be that. So it's a little bit brutalist, but I kind of find it okay. It was just something I made up here on the fly, so it's more to show that how you can use the prefab and to sort of tell the user a little bit about what state the app is, or that their intended action was successful. Now, one thing that bugs me out a little bit is that when I add something here in the toast, it sort of happens a little bit funny on top of the header. So let me see how this. When I go to the toast component, I think there's something here with where it is placed. So is it this one? Let me see what happens if I delete this padding or margin or what it was. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. See if it was here. Maybe 8 pixels. It's a little bit nitty-gritty, this, but this still doesn't quite look right. Let's try 4. I mean, this is one of those things where you just, coming up with it on the spot. I did not prepare to have a toast in here, but I think this looks okay for now. Yeah. One last thing I can show you, and then I think we should head over to Q&A, because I've also been doing this for an hour now. One last thing I want to show, when I go into my cart, now I'm in the shopping cart item, which it shouldn't be, but in the pop-up here, I could add a button. So let's see, this list here should not take up 100% of the width. It should only, let me just refresh this, looks a little bit funny. What's going on? Something here is like pressing it down. Sorry, that was like an alignment thing. So this button, this is just right now this standard Noodle button, which it shouldn't be. What I could do is I could reuse my button from out here, which right now, I'm just gonna go into design mode. Right now, it's just a regular button. I could copy and paste it as it is. I think I'm gonna do that, but I will say that it could be good practice, or would probably be better practice to either create this button as a component. The only problem with creating it as a component, even though it's like very micro component, is that you then have to probably give it a lot of, component inputs to set the alignment and stuff like that. Or you could just place it in a group where you use it and then align that group. We also have variants that you can use here, which actually is probably the even better solution in this case. So I will call it like minimal button. I don't know. Just coming up with this as we go. So I'm gonna create a variant for this, and I hope I can reuse this now. So if I go to my shopping cart pop-up, oh wow, I should not have done that, maybe. Let me just revert this. Sorry, I think I messed up a little bit. So if this, and then I say edit variant, I can then change the hover state, which had primary dark for some reason. It shouldn't have that. And then is there something on click also pressed? No. Should also just be transparent. Let's see. Yeah, great. Then I can take this here. I mean, I'm just gonna, what I want to show is I'm just gonna take a new button, even though it's like this standard Noodle button, and then I'm gonna add the minimal variation to that. So now it's the same as the card. However, I should of course change the inner text, the label. So it shouldn't be card, it should be clear, clear, or just clear, like this. And this this clear button should probably only be here when we have something to clear. It doesn't make sense that I can click it without, oh, something. So, okay, so something funny is going on in my variant here. I think it's that when I click it, the text of the label changes color. Label there, yep. Yeah. And I probably should have some. So in variant, when I click the, so I know I just removed this, but I think I need to have some kind of telling that I just clicked the button. So I'm gonna go with petroleum blue as the background color when I click it, and then I do indeed need to have white background like this. And because I'm editing the variant in here, and I can now close this, then it should happen to both my button in here and to this one, which it's always a little bit. Oh, it's it's because this apparently didn't have the button here. I really thought I added the variant to this one. So this is one of the reasons why I sometimes don't use variants. It's a nice tool if you know how to build the variant from the beginning, but here I just kind of build it on the fly. So right now the background color is being overridden in this instance, so I should just maybe remove that, and let's see. Then we have the same, yeah. And you know what, I'm just gonna, at this point, I'm just gonna copy this, so I'm absolutely sure that it's the same. This one, and then it's card, formatted to label like this, and gonna delete this, and then yeah, it's not super beautiful, but I just want to see that we have something that happens. And then when we're in here in shopping cart pop-up, when I clear, then I clear array, and the array, sorry, and the array I'm clearing is the shopping cart. And now a little hack or tip, I guess, is that right now this shopping cart is, the count of it is 0, there's 0 items. So I can actually just take the count here and set that to mounted. So while the count is mounted, you could of course also have an expression or a function to help you decide this, but sometimes you just want those quick sort of solutions. So right now you see that the shopping cart is, there's nothing in here, therefore the button is not in here. But then when I add stuff to my cart here, I'm adding a lot of these. Then I can add all these and I can clear, and then everything is removed. One very last thing, and then I will also need a little breather, is I'm gonna add a group here that says with a text note that says card is empty, or your card is empty. Like this, and I want this to be a little bit larger, so maybe body large, and then I'm gonna do it in like a gray color. I'm gonna give this a little bit of padding, I think, or some margin here maybe. No, do I want that? I'm gonna do this from. It isn't really a rocket science question, this one, but let's see. Just do this. Give it a little bit more. Now, this group, of course, shouldn't show if my card is not empty. So I could just here I could use an expression. I could also use an inverter. Oops, inverter. So the count is now the here it's 0, but when we put it through the inverter, it becomes false. So this group, let's see, like this. This is the card empty message. So right now, this we get a message that my card is empty, but when I add something here, we should see that the message has disappeared, because now the count is no longer 0, and then this outputs false. So this is sort of the fast way of doing it, but sometimes you might need to do this in a function to be absolutely sure that something doesn't go wrong. But it's one of those nice little tips for when you're working fast. So when you're clear here, it should be the other way around. I should now show the message, your card is empty. There we go. Cool. I think that's what I want to show for now. That was also quite a lot we got to do in an hour, I think.
Yeah.
And we got to answer some questions while we were building. But I'm ready for some Q&A in maybe 5 minutes. Do you want to sit here and then I can just
I can take over the Q&A.
Yeah, great.
So, hi there.
Woo. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, I saw that Michael Bourgeois had some questions, I think. Or am I wrong? You needed to leave soon, so maybe I can answer any questions before you have to. And if not, then we got a couple of questions during the stream. So I think that I just go through a couple of them and so on. Let's see here. Guillaume Maison asks, what I'd like to see now is how you integrate code, JS or TypeScript, especially to use some JS or TS SDK. Yes, so to do that, you would actually use our, the Noodl SDK. Let me show it to you. I cannot do it now because this is on Victor's computer and he doesn't have a development environment set up for it. And with development environment, I mean VS Code and essentially VS Code. But if we look here in the JavaScript portion of our docs, we do have a whole section of extending Noodle. And essentially what we do have is an SDK where you can use to create your core nodes and also to create visual nodes with React. And a really good thing is that at our GitHub we actually have a lot of open source modules, so you can actually see how we've built some of the modules, or maybe all of the modules actually, that you find here. So all of these are built with the SDK in one way or another. But we can definitely look at that in another stream. I know that Eric has been really excited to look at that as an example, to do like a module building stream. So we should definitely look at that. But the SDK is both JavaScript and TypeScript, and it's really neat.
Another question we had was how you would read a URL parameter. That is actually pretty easy. So if we go to the products page, we see that we have a default node that's called page inputs. And in this, you can have both path parameters and query parameters. And essentially, path parameters, the path parameters are, so let's see, let me catch up with my own train of thought here. So what you can do is that we can pop out the Noodle viewer and then open it up in the browser. And here is the app, and it's running locally. And actually, a cool thing here is that if we update something, now I'm gonna break Victor's app. I hope he doesn't get too mad at me. Let's see here. If we go to the product card and maybe we want the image container, let's see, below the card container. Yeah. And if the demo gods are happy with me, we can actually see that change. Yes, right there. Let me redo this. So here is the app running in the browser. Let's restore this so that Victor doesn't see that I've messed with it before he gets back. So as you see in the browser, this kind of updates instantly and automatically. And this is a great way of testing the different path parameters as well. Right now, you can preview your different routes here. And in an update that will come next week, you can actually preview the path parameters as well. But for now, just for this demo, we will do it in the browser. So in the page inputs, we have, yeah, as I said, we have path parameters and query parameters. And essentially the difference between them is that a query parameter looks like this. So it starts with a question mark, and then you write hello. And let's see here, if we do a query parameter, we do hello. And we also need to do, let's see, let's show this data somehow. So we do a text node here at the top of our products page. And as you see now, it just says text. But here from the hello, we can do the text from the hello, and let us do like this. So hello equals wow. And that did not work. Let me see. What did I do wrong? Let's go to the docs, actually. I haven't used the path parameters in quite a while. Let's see here. Node reference. Let's go to page inputs. Page inputs, query parameter. Oh, okay, so yeah, let's see, parameter equals value in the URL. So I did it right. What are we missing here? Did I mess something up? Let's see here. It's called hello equals wow. That's strange. Let me actually get back to that. It might be that you have the slash at the start. Yes, thank you, stream. That is definitely a good. Oh, and it does that automatically. I wonder if that is wow. I think we actually found a bug. I mean, usually you get the path parameters on a sub page. So I'm guessing that might be the thing. Maybe if we go to the product page actually. So we go slash product page. Yes, there we go. So, but that's a good thing. We found a bug today. We should actually be able to set the path parameters on your home page as well. So that goes in the backlog. Yeah, but essentially this is how you do it. So just to recap quickly, you go to your page, you create a page input as a query parameter or as a path parameter. And then when you go to your yeah, and then you make a connection between the data you get and the data you want to set. And yeah, essentially this is how you do it. And then if we would do it as a path parameter, we do hello2. This would, instead of using the question mark, let's see here, actually, I haven't used this one either in a while. I've been so all up in writing documentation for like ChatGPT and stuff. So, yeah. Well, let's see here. So the route my page monkey will result in the path parameter page to get the value monkey. Usually, like, this is used for the IDs of records, so I don't really know how relevant it is to send this data like this. But it's let's see. Do you have any leads on that?
No, but
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. So we got hello2, and now it says hello. Yeah.
Well, one thing you do need is to plug this into the right side, because apparently I didn't get to. Yeah.
Let's see.
Just so we didn't run out of battery.
Yeah. Thanks.
Quite impressive that we've streamed for so long, not on power.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that is essentially how you work with the path parameters, and you can of course use this as, you know, as booleans to render different parts of your web page, and so on and so forth. Eric has some good answers as well in the chat. He says that might work with /pound question mark hello, but usually you don't query params on the home page. And yeah, that's the answer for that. Another question we had was working, like connecting to Superbase and or Zano or things like that, and I answered in the chat that essentially it is possible, but it takes a little bit of extra work, and that's mostly because we haven't done any integrations for it. It isn't too complicated though. I mean, you need to have a little bit of code know-how.
What's going on with the buttons right now?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, let's refresh. I don't know. I changed some things in your app while you were gone, so
okay,
that might be it. Yeah. But essentially, oh wait, let's open up Chrome again. So if we go to, for example, Xano, we can see that in their documentation, connect to Xano, and if we go down to the JavaScript SDK, we get a GitLab repository. And essentially, the thing you need to do here, so what you would do is you would copy this thing into the head portion of the code. So you would copy that one, and then we would go to the project settings and into the head code, and there we would paste that one. And what that does is that when we reload our app now, you're not going to see anything. But when we reload our app, we essentially loaded in the Xano library. And after that, we have access to the Xano object, and we can do like post and all of these things. So this would be done in a JavaScript node. And once again, we don't have a Xano product key now, so we can't really do it. But the way we would do, so we create a function node. In here, we could paste this, and then maybe, you know, depending on what response we get, we could do outputs. Let's see, outputs dot result would be our response, and otherwise we do outputs dot failure. And a little quick thing here. Let's see, just do success as well. And so a quick thing that I want to explain here is that, so what we do have here, we define the outputs of this function node. And if we define an output and put these parentheses after it, this will become a signal. So we'll essentially have, now, let's see, Xano is not defined, so maybe we do window.xano, window.xano. I have not tried this yet so far. So, but essentially, we will look into this and write a guide about this as well. But essentially, what it would be then when you have this connection is that you could, first of all, when the page mounts, we would do run, and then let's do a text here. And maybe we can do, so here we have the success, the failure, and the result. So if this code would success, it would output the success signal, and we could, a thing we could do is that we could, maybe we could show a toast. So we can do a success, and then this toast would be, we can say that, connected to Zano or whatever. I mean, this is a really, really dumb example. But this is just for like a quick Q&A. But this is essentially how we would do it. A really cool thing that we have been experimenting with, that I've been doing quite a lot as well, is actually that we do have a ChatGPT primer for things like this. So if you're not that comfortable with code, we do have a pretty cool thing here with AI assisted development. And essentially what this is that it tells you a lot about ChatGPT, how ChatGPT works, good tips and tricks for how you could generate your code, and how you could connect things, and so on and so forth. But the really, really cool thing here is that we have a primer for code generation. And essentially what you do is that you copy this thing, and when you start a new chat with ChatGPT, you send it this, and it says, okie dokie, I will follow the instruction provided for writing Noodle functions. Please provide me with specific function you would like me to implement along with any additional details or requirements. So you can say, write a Noodle function that connects to Zano, and we could maybe we could even do like this. I haven't tried this, so we'll see. Maybe ChatGPT will be will be angry with me now. Like detailed here. Send a success and a failure signal and a response. And hopefully, let's see here. So here we have, and it does this automatically for us. Yeah, so note. Oh, and it even gives us this thing. Look at this. This is awesome. So essentially what it says, here's the function you should have, and it defines all the inputs. It defines all the outputs for us with like failure and success and failure. Now this is wrong, so we would have to ask it to do it better. But essentially, I mean, it takes us 99% there. And then it tells us, include this following script tag in your HTML file, and that would be in the head file. So yeah, that's how you would do it. Let's see here. Guillaume Maison says that you don't need an API key for Zano. Want to give it a try on this Zano endpoint. Just one parameter. Text string sends back hello, you entered. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see. So Guillaume, okay, so if we do the endpoint, let's try this. Let's see here. End code. Let us see. So as I said, I haven't done this before. So let us actually see if we go to the inspector. Let's check out what we have here. So this is a little bit of a priming for me before I write this guide, but yeah, live guide writing. So let's see here. Sono client. Oh, sorry. And if anyone in the chat has done this before, you're very welcome to help me. Let's see, Zono client. Okay. Let's see, what does Zono say? So Zono client
Yeah, okay, so we have this new Xano client. Okay. So let's try it then. Actually, you know what? Let's try the ChatGPT code. Let's see how good it is at helping us with this. And maybe we should rewrite it. What did you say? So let's see here. Write a Xano call to the end point. Maybe we do to the endpoint. Oh wait, to the endpoint called star star star. With the parameter. Is it Guillaume? Do you want it to return the text parameter? Is it that? So that returns the parameter text. Let's see here. Okay, so Guillaume says that the parameter is sent back with a concatenated string. Yeah, let's try it. And it seems to be taking a old version of Xano. Or at least that's not what it called it before. Maybe we need to write a Xano primer as well. If we look here, maybe we just go for the docs for now. So let's do it like this. We copy that one. Xano is new Xano client, and that should just be. Do we pass something to this, or we're just getting things back? Let's see. Define function logic. Let's see here. And what we do then is let's just take this one. Or no, let's do the whole thing. There we go. And so actually we just need the get response. So let's remove all of this. Let's keep the failure so that we know if we failed or not. Let's see here. Actually, you know what? Let's skip that too. So response await Xano client get endpoint. And the endpoint was 3 stars, right? So let's do 3 stars. Let's see. Oh, I don't know Victor's keyboard. And then we do here, and let's log this first. So console log response. Or maybe we should no, let's do it like this. Cannot read properties of undefined reading. Oh, should we do? I think maybe that isn't a problem. Or is it?
Maybe try and just reload and see.
Oh yeah, that could be it. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it seems good. All right, so when this page mounts, we run this code. And since we defined the console log there in the, let's see here, cannot read properties of undefined reading storage. So it seems to be some kind of, yeah, so this is the first time I'm using, oh, Guillaume. Thank you, you're a rock. Let's see if I can just, oh no, wait up. Let me copy your answer here. Let's see, and then I will
Do you have your Discord up on
Yeah.
on this computer? Let me
Oh,
see.
not on.
Yeah.
You want to send it here? Or?
No, I want it over here.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, let's see. Let's do like this. Twitch.tv. Oh
Yeah.
shit! Sorry. Twitch.tv/getnoodle. I think that's. Let's see here. So, and what we can do here actually is F1 format document. No, I did not want to do that. All right, let's see here. New Xano client. Let's see here. What is? Let's see here. Xano client dot then response. Let's try that again. Xano has already been. Oh yeah, of course. I already declared Xano, so remove that one too. So yeah, once again, first time using Xano. It's always fun to do in a live stream. Okay, let's see. It doesn't seem to be a function. Use on a client. No. Care to help me out, Guillaume? Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. Consider this a live demo fail. We'll definitely get back to this because like it shouldn't be this hard, definitely. Oh, okay. So we do. Is it Xano? Wait. Is it Xano.get? Oops. Yeah, this seems to be giving us something nice here. Let's see, let's go back here. Let's go to our app. Yes, look at this. We get the response. All right, I was about to give up, but I didn't.
Great.
Yeah, but as you see, we do get the the body and the headers and stuff. It seems to give us the body for Xano, but essentially this is how you would be getting the data too as well. Yeah. Another question that we had was to actually get some data from a REST API. So let's do that too. Let's hop on over to another topic. Do you have something to say, Victor?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing to do. I think we could do it with Dado if we want to.
Yeah. Otherwise, I had in mind of doing the cat fact API.
Yeah, do that. Yes. Yeah.
So if we go to let's see, cat fact API. There we go. Here is the documentation. This is an API, a REST API that gets a cat fact and then yeah, returns a cat fact essentially. We can actually try it right in the browser. So if we go here, we see that there are two endpoints. One requires authentication, and the other one does not. So let's do the one that does not require an authentication because we don't want to like get any API keys and stuff like that. So if we go to catfacts.fact, I think it was, or was it facts? Facts maybe? Yeah, facts. We see that we get a whole lot of JSON data. So
let us try a new one. And this is why I said that we should probably write a primer for Xano, because we do have a primer for REST API calls with ChatGPT as well. And what that does is that essentially, like, we set it up to understand how to write a REST call for a REST function in Noodle. So we copy that one, and then we paste it in the ChatGPT. It understands. Cool. The endpoint is... Oh, okay. Haha. Let's see here. The endpoint is https:/example endpoint user ID fetch and stuff like that. Maybe we could actually... let's try to do it this way. Can you use this endpoint instead? Colon... and then we do the facts one. And we paste that. And it says, certainly, here's a Noodle function, one for preparing the REST API request and one for processing the response, using the given endpoint cat facts. Okay. We don't need an API key. Let's see. Oh, okay, so it does not need anything at all. Oh yeah, of course, because we don't need to... Yeah, okay, so this is even easier than I expected. Let's do it like this. We do a REST node. We choose the resource, which is cat facts heroku app facts. And then we, when the page mounts, did mount, we do a fetch. And let's, like, so that we don't have to set up an API or a UI for this or anything, let's just use a function node to log this data that we get. So the request, and what did it say? So outputs.results should be response content all. Cool. Let's try it. Let's paste it in there. When outputs should be, oh yeah, we need to do console.log inputs.data. This is a really stupid function, but it does the job. The result should be sent to data, and on success, we should run the function. So if we go back to our app, where is it? It's the one called product page. We reload this, and it returns undefined. Why do you return undefined?
Have you set the endpoint up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's look at the request. Response. Let's just see response.content. Maybe it did not understand the cat facts one. Let's try to do that. Yes, look at that. There we go. And here we have all of the different cat facts. So what we could do, for example, is maybe, let's see here. What is this? We have an, let me make this a little bit bigger. So what we have here is that we have an array with items or with objects, and they all have a text. So what we could do is to just data, and then we can, I don't know, pick out the first one, the first item of that array, and we do, what was it, text? And then we reload, and here, Wikipedia has a recording of a cat meowing because why not? So yeah, and I mean this of course can be sent to anything. So if you know if we want to change this, we can do outputs outputs dot text equals inputs dot data dot text. And then when this text outputs, we send that to the text. We reload the page, and here we have it. Wikipedia has a recording of a cat meowing because why not? So this is how you would get a REST request. Of course, I mean, sometimes you have to do, or in most, like in all real cases, you would have to do some authentication with API keys and stuff like that, and we can definitely cover that in another stream. We also have guides for it, so if you're interested in learning more about that, we do have that. We're also very responsive at our Discord, so if you have any questions, you can always shoot your questions at us over there. Yeah.
And if I may add, best practice would, of course, if you had API keys lying around to authenticate the REST query, would of course to have this REST query in a cloud function, which I did. I mean, I created one today, but we didn't get to use it, or there's nothing in there. But I also saw a question in the chat regarding localization.
Yes.
And I think we have, I mean, we don't have so much time left, but I know that there's a quite good example on that on the docs.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Let's see, I think I have it here as well. So library, modules, I18 next translation.
Yes, and then there should be an example somewhere.
Is it this one?
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
that one. This one should cover. So what you can do here is you can import. I'm not sure if we need to show it live on stream or if we have time.
Yeah.
But at least I want to. The stream should know. Our audience should know that you have something you can try out here, and then we can maybe cover that in a future session. Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like an import button here. You click it and it imports it to. Let's see if it. Yeah, importing from URL, and here we get all of the different.
We should be a little bit careful here, though. We should probably open a new project and import it, because otherwise we will mess up a lot of styles and So be careful when you import it. Remember to have like when you import it from the docs, you need to have an empty project open to play around with it.
Yeah,
I think we would recommend. Yeah,
definitely. Are there any other questions? Let me see if I missed some stuff here. Somebody said that a ChatGPT primer for Zana would be incredible. Yes, I do agree. We should definitely do that. We actually so we are very much based around our community, and a lot of the decisions that we take are based on the needs and the wants of the community. And so far, like before this week, people have not really been that interested in using external backends apart from like enterprise clients. So it hasn't really been on our radar, to be completely honest, to like build these things or to to support that and have use cases for that. But seeing that there is an increased wish for things like this, we should definitely we will definitely start looking into that stuff. Definitely start I probably will start with guides or primers for ChatGPT, but I think that in a lot of cases we could also build connectors to Zano and stuff like that. Guillaume asks, what happens if you want to use an SDK with API keys? Are they exposed in a way or another, or how to secure them? Yes, this is a great question. So for API keys, what you would do regularly is that you want to have them as hidden as possible. And the way we do that is that we have them. Oh, this is strange. What happened there?
I don't know, but I do have it in the. I should have one in the backend right now that I maybe would have used, but never got to. Yeah.
But essentially, what you do is that in your cloud service, we do have a config object. And this config object includes. That's the key. We will remove that after the stream.
Yeah.
But essentially, what you do is that you have a lot of config parameters, and all of these config parameters are only visible to like the server. So what you would do is then in a cloud function, we can create a new cloud function and just call it test. You would actually, maybe we do a REST request. And in this one, maybe we have, I don't know, we just do, actually, let's just do that as a function for now. It's not important. I just want to show how you would connect it. So let's see, inputs dot API key. I use different naming conventions for everything. I don't really know why. I should be better at this. And then we have the config object, essentially. So what we can do on the request is received. We can run that. And then the config we should choose the config parameter. And why can't I see it here, Victor?
Yeah, this has happened before. Sometime I thought I had it in here already, but maybe try and just go in and out of the project.
Yep.
I think it's some weird update issue.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go in and let's go back and let's resize the window. Let's see. Let's go back here. And let's see if this works now. Parameter, yeah, there we have it. Data API key. And then we set the value to be the API key. And this will only be visible to the server, so no API keys would be exposed or anything. Oh, Johan just said that when that bug happens, you can also refresh the cloud services. So what you do is that you're in your cloud functions and you just press the refresh key, and then that would have solved that issue as well. So we wouldn't have to go back and forth. Yeah, and like of course this is really cool because you can have local overrides for them as well. So you can, you can have a specific key for your test instances, and then you have a different key for your production environment and things like that. Yeah.
I think Johan says you can refresh in the panel.
Oh, you can refresh in the panel too. That's cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, we are at the end of the stream, and yeah, I mean, of course, there are a lot of other questions people might have, too. And if you're interested, we can do another live stream, or we can talk about it in the Discord, or I mean, anywhere else really. You can reach us everywhere.
Can I have a look at this in the meantime?
See. Yeah. Let's see. So McKen just says another stream would be great. Want to dig a little deeper before coming back with questions. That's perfect. Let's do a follow-up stream. And then maybe maybe you have more questions. Maybe you have more things prepared. Maybe you can check out Noodle a little bit more. Things like that. Guillaume also says, I don't have more time, but very interested to have other live on specific use cases. We should definitely have that. Actually, we've been talking about doing some kind of like live support thing. So we can actually, because a problem with streams is usually that you want to show the thing that you're doing, but the thing that you're doing is usually like a test project, or, like a sample app, or, just something, something that isn't really like for real. I mean, you still use the real, it's still real, but it's not like a real app. So a thing that we've been talking about is to actually do like live support with people as a stream, so that we can actually show how we would solve more complex real life questions and real life problems as well. So yeah, reach out to us if that would be interested, if you have a problem that you might want to get solved, and so on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that could be it for now. We didn't get into like there are a lot of there has been a lot of questions about like marketplaces and open sourcing and stuff like that, and we do have answers for all that too. But yeah, we can take that in a different stream as well. So Brain Baude asks, do you planning on do more YouTube videos on building some simple apps? Yes, definitely. We do a lot of the time. We actually do a lot of live streaming here as well, where we build different apps and different things. Usually it's in the form of like a very chill stream, so it's not like this is how we do it quickly, or like not like this is how we do it and we have something prepared and things like that. It's more like I'm gonna build this app and whatever happens happens, kind of, which I personally really enjoy, because then you will actually see how what you would do when you encounter issues in your app building, how you would problem solve or debug things and things like that. So yeah.
And I think some of the build along videos that we had on or that we've had on YouTube, we've definitely thought about making more of those. But there's been so many UI changes happening to the tool lately that we kind of wanted to make sure that we have everything in there before we had to potentially redo too many videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for today.
Yeah.
Get in touch with us. Sign up to our Discord if you want to catch other live streams, and if you have like other ideas for live stream formats or things you just want to learn in general, or if you just have a problem.
Don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah.
As you've probably, hopefully already seen, we try to be be quick to answer and help
Yeah.
you guys out.
Oh, that's great. A lot of love in the chat. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a great Friday and a
Yeah.
great weekend. See you soon.
Bye bye.